Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm just going to do a little video breaking down The Binding of Isaac Repentance, if you should get it or not, what I think about it, my first impressions, and yeah, that's about it. Let's just hop into it. But before I get into any of that, I'm just going to do a very brief overview of what The Binding of Isaac Repentance is. And that is a roguelike where you're trying to get stronger and stronger the further down you go. You're trying to get the overpowered items and trying to get yourself as stacked as you can. But what makes this game really impressive and different from other roguelikes is just the sheer amount of items there are, the amount of polish on all the stuff in the game, the synergies you can get, the different places to go, the different unlocks you can get, the characters. There's just so much in the game to go through. The game knowledge is insane. But that's enough about the regular Binding of Isaac. Now I'm going to be talking about Repentance, specifically the DLC and stuff about that. Alright guys, so the first thing I'm going to be talking about is actually the changes to the existing content that was out there. Not the new content they brought in, but just the existing content, reworks and stuff like that. When it comes to the changed content, there's actually a ton of it. It feels like the entire game has been overhauled. Everything's been changed, it feels like. Tons of stuff has been buffed and nerfed. The game feels like it's much harder, and yeah, I've got to say, I feel like this is all for the best. People are always bitching and complaining about their favorite items being nerfed, but I think this is all for the best. People think that because they slightly nerfed Brimstone 2020 and items like that, it's just terrible. But I actually disagree. I actually love the way the game feels right now. I think that having the great items tuned down a little bit so that way you have to rely a little bit more on the previously crappy items but are now honestly feeling great is a good change that I think the game actually needed. And hard mode actually feels like a challenge right now for all the right reasons, I feel like, except for one, which I'll go over a little later in the video. But I really like how it feels like it's a struggle to get your consumables, which makes one of my favorite stats, the luck stat, even more important. And also defensive items and angel rooms feel so much more viable now. It feels like you can actually go that path and have a really good run, which was a lot harder previously. But the one thing I really don't like about the update, and the only thing I really don't like when it comes to the changes, are the shop changes in hard mode. It feels like they could have nerfed them without completely obliterating it. Now if I'm in hard mode, unless I have like an excess amount of keys, I will just straight up ignore the shop completely. Which I feel like it needed a nerf, but y'all hit it with a actual tactical nuke and it is just in radiation and rubble right now. But they're probably going to make some changes to the shop because as of now, I saw Edmund McMillen, the creator of the game, has been talking about updating it, and the shop is like their top priority of things to change. But that's it for all the changes they made of existing content. Now I'm just going to talk about the new stuff and what it's doing really well. So that's the new stuff in the game. They added 9 new challengers, 2 new characters, well 2 plus. There's actually a lot more than that in the game. 150 plus new items, 100 new enemies, and 25 new bosses. There's also a lot of new music for you to listen to and stuff like that. But the reason why I said there's more than 2 characters in the game is because there's actually a lot of new characters that I won't actually get into because that would be like spoilers. I'm not going to be spoiling anything in this review, by the way. I highly recommend you go and learn it for yourself if you plan on actually getting in this game and getting into it. Another thing that was huge about this DLC was just the bring in and the port of the popular mod Anti-Birth. The alternate paths it provides are just so much fun. All the items are great. The polish and everything feels like they actually took their time in making it, and it feels great. And that's just a good way to describe the state of the game right now. It feels almost perfect. It feels like this is a good way to end it, honestly. I don't want the game to end right here. I like the new items coming in, new DLCs in the future. But if it does end, this feels like a good place to end it right here. Just a few more updates, a few more items added, changes to the stuff like shop, overall buffs and nerfs for one last time, and then boom. The game feels like it'd be in a perfect condition right then. And yeah, I want to see more updates and more DLCs like this in the future. Don't know if this was going to be the last one or not. It's been talked about like this is going to be the last DLC. I hope it's not. For those of you who are new to this game or don't know anything about it, I would say that the only thing that can really turn off new players is the overly dark or religious themes of the game. But if you're okay with that and you just want something to stick your teeth into, I feel like this is the perfect game to put a lot of hours into. And if you're someone who's been playing the game before, I feel like this DLC is an absolute must get for you. But yeah, that's about it for the final verdict of The Binding of Isaac Repentance. I feel like this is an absolute winner. This is a great update and a great way to finish the series off. I really hope there's more in the future though, but that's about it. Alright guys, peace.